Wizards of the Coast public relation nightmare continues to unfold. Shaping your message has never been more important for Wizards of the Coast. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Welcome aboard to all the new subscribers and my regular viewers who tune in each and every day. Big shout out, of course, to all the patrons on the channel who continue to support me, as well as my YouTube membership members. We are in for a very interesting week of conversation. Public relations is defined as the professional maintenance of a favorable public image between the customer and the company. Before the Magic 30 events, and before the announcement of the 30th anniversary collector proxy packs that aren't really worth anything came out, Wizards of the Coast should have been employing a company for public relations to cut down the angles and let them know what could go wrong, what blowback they could expect. Was it going to be a crisis, and how serious that crisis was? Now, the marketing team has obviously done their job. The packaging looks great. They got a lot of hype out there. They have the conversation going. They've got the ball going in any direction they can. That's their job. But that is not public relations. They are two different. The marketing team is there to make sure the product gets out on time, has the right impact, positive or negative. They want people talking about it. But that favorable outlook on these products, that is the team that is public relations. And right now, the damage control going on, even though you are not seeing it on this end or out there right now, there is a spin control team being employed to mitigate the damage. They're determining how serious this crisis is, how big the blowback from the players is going to be. I talked about that little book of tricks and secrets Wizards has. That's their internal stuff to lower prices, control things. But to get their image turned around, to come back from this will be a lot more difficult because people make up their minds very quickly. Never before, back in 93, 94, 95, with the Chronicles debacle, the creation of the reserve list, everyone was separate. The internet was at its infancy. Nowadays, we are globally united. When the hate train started, not the hype train, the hate train started. Players did start climbing on board. They were not even paying for tickets. They realized the hate train is free. And they can hop on board that train and just join in the hate. And let the hate multiply. And more people saw it and more people got on the hate train. And they saw the hype train down the line, but it was so far back they didn't care. And right now that public relations team is trying to figure out a way. And they're offering solutions and plans to Wizards of the Coast, to Hasbro, to mitigate the damage. It's very fascinating to think that the possibility that Wizards of the Coast didn't see this coming. The idea that they let the marketing team go hog wild, they let some execs at Hasbro say, we need this money, how can you make it happen? And I'm sure there were people at Wizards of the Coast who probably spoke up and probably said, there could be some bad blowback. Should we take a look at what the possibilities are? And you can just picture the Bobs in the back room eating my nachos and cheese saying, don't worry about it, we'll deal with that later. Let's get things out. Because Vegas 30 is a nightmare. The 30th anniversary stuff, I've seen it all over the weekend. I got emails coming in from people who were actually there. Wow. Although players are having a good time together, the actual planning of the events, the debacles following it is horrible. Then you've got people opening up these 30th anniversary boosters, and no, I have not seen any of the videos. I refuse to watch them. Like I said I would. I'm not getting involved. I'm staying out. I don't believe this is the way Wizards of the Coast should have handled it. So I'm keeping my distance from anything related to it. But this area of it is something I'm familiar with. I've seen it happen before with other companies. I've seen it happen where you have a PR disaster, where they just got to be called in and they're trying to keep everything going. They're trying to keep the wheels turning. And right now, a lot of these things are really gummed up in the works right now. And they're all thinking, we didn't think it would be this bad. We didn't think it was going to go that wrong. Did you see this coming? Yes, some people probably did. And you ignored them. Will this product sell out? Absolutely. It's going to sell out. But like a pyramid, there are the top on that pyramid who are the wealthy, wealthy players. And yes, this product is not geared, and these choices were not geared for the lower, the bottom of the pyramid people. I get that. And some people would say that this hate is even unfounded. The hate train shouldn't be as bad as it is. It doesn't matter if it should be as bad as it is. It is. You have to deal with what's in front of you, not what you think should be happening, but what is actually there in front of you coming down the line. And when all the people on the bottom can now gang up on you and put their voices out there, which before was an impossibility in the 90s, in the 2020s, everyone has a voice and everyone can put it out there. They can add comments to comment sections. They can have Reddit boards. They can have group chats. They have a way of amassing power which Wizards and Hasbro never had to deal with before. The latest inkling would probably have been when they did the promo foil stuff of reserve list cards, where people like jumped out and said, no. That was probably the last time they really had it coming down the line that way, and it was still a much smaller train. But this hate train, it's got extra cards. Those cards are on the back saying, yeah, just climb on board. Jump in. We'll make room for you. And that's where your public relations is going to come in. They're going to determine, one, how bad the crisis is. Is it just voices in the wind that are going to subside? Two, how are you going to spin this in your favor? Because a lot of times you've got to be straight with people and let them know. When those price increases came, when Wizards said, hey, we're doing price increases, they said it was because of materials and costs, right? But they didn't say, with the money we're getting by raising these prices, we are going to give you better quality. We are going to give you a better product by making sure this and A and B and C all fit together. They didn't do that. And that is part of public relations, is explaining why you're doing it. Just telling us material costs went up and raising things up when you already raised it the year before and the year before, it just doesn't jive with people. So they already had that bad taste in their mouth. You need to be straight with people. Okay? And they didn't do it. So they already started things off on that bad foot with the price increases. The material costs really didn't, yes, material costs went up, but on the grand scheme, it wouldn't be the increases we're seeing in the product now. If I can still buy a deck of playing cards for $1, then there is no excuse for the price increases we've seen for their products. They're probably made at the same difficulty, and they're probably made in the same factory. When people can actually voice these concerns and put them out, this is what's going to have public relations working overtime to figure out solutions, to get things going. And it won't all be found in that little playbook Wizards likes to pull out. It won't just be flashy, cool stuff they bring forward. They're going to have to answer for things. They're going to have to go in front of a camera at some point, not hide behind things, and get the message out. And get a message that players can get behind. Which means they're definitely going to be putting some water in their wine. Stuff like this, it will simmer down. Some people, their anger doesn't continue this long. They kind of subside and they go off to the side. But the players who exited the game, the reason we have such low prices right now in so many reserve list cards, single cards, hurting the LGSs, hurting the distributors, that is not going to go away. That's going to take at least a year to settle down and see who survives this massive explosion that we've just seen. Because there's going to be vibrations and reverberations that go out for a long time that affect a lot of different aspects of the game that won't be easily remedied. But if Wizards can get under this, if they can get control and get a good PR company in there to put in some price controls, tighten up production runs, voice that to the players of how they're going to make sure that the product quality is better, how they're going to mitigate some of the things that have been going on, how they can make their events better by planning them out in a more intricate way with better fail-safes in place to make sure players can get everything done. And maybe it's going back to basics and not trying to do virtual online stuff and stuff in person where there's too many wheels turning that something can go wrong much easier. Get down to the basics, Wizards, and slowly add, okay? Slowly. Maybe give away some free stuff. Right? Maybe you put in a few little free bits here on Arena. There are ways they can spin it. And that PR company is going to be just throwing everything and the kitchen sink at everything else they can. They're going to say, hey, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. They're going to be talking fast. And those Hasbro's execs are going to be going like this. And there's going to be some Wizards employees who are going to be like this saying, arms are up going, I told you so. We warned you. You can only abuse people so far. So the public relations aspect of things, I really don't think was engaged before the announcements were made. They may have had a cursory outlook saying, yeah, there'll be some people upset and this is going, but they couldn't have anticipated the downturn in the world market. With recession coming, with all those words starting to dominate the news, that's what they couldn't have seen. But a PR company may have been able to tell them, because they would have taken a look at the economic climate and said, you know what, this may not be the best time to institute what you're trying to do. Yeah, it's the 30th anniversary, but you might want to tone things down a bit. You might want to add the wording. They didn't get that kind of information. I'm positive now, because I've known companies that have gone through this, and this is not what's expected. They didn't handle things well, and they haven't gotten out in front of it by having a big, meeting, have all the bobs there, and then send out Rose Water or somebody to say, okay, guys, look, we understand the negativity facing our game right now, and we understand the difficulties going on with the players trying to afford our products. They didn't do any of that yet. They're not out in front of it, taking ownership of what they've done. And a PR company is going to tell them to do it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video today. I'd like to know everyone's comments on what they feel is coming down the line, what you think is going to happen next. Because that PR company is going to be in there, and I would love to look back on some of the people's messages and comments in the comment section later on to see how many people were right about what they think is going to happen. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. I look forward to seeing you guys this week. Let's keep this conversation going because it's not done yet. I'll see you all tomorrow. A big shout out to all the fantastic patrons on this channel. I hope you guys enjoyed a weekend of Magic the Gathering with some friends. What a great game. Patrons rock. Hey guys, thanks for making it to the end credits scene. I'm glad you're all here. If you're one of the newer people who's found my channel, welcome aboard. This is like the end bit. Can you imagine how much that public relations company is going to charge Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast for doing this work and getting out in front of the message and making sure it's shaped the right way? Wow. People can look down on public relations all you want. Stuff like this is really necessary at a time like that. So I find it really fascinating. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys. Thanks for being here. Put those comments out there. Let me know what you think. And if you made it this far in the video, I mean, you're probably watching this on Halloween night. We've got to give Army of Darkness its due in the comments section. That's right. All right, guys, have a great day today. Enjoy your happy Halloween. Oh, I know, right?